We don't know each other in real life. This isn't real life, it's the internet, after all. Heck, with AI, this may not even be real. Maybe this is a green screen. I say all this because I want to be the voice that's uncomfortable in real life for you, for all four of you who are going to see this. The idea goes something like this. 2025, the year of unpleasant change. 2025 is the year of collision. The collision of expectations. Because whether on the micro level of interpersonal relationships or the macro level of nation states, civilizations, we have two parties, two groups of parties. At either level, I'm not talking about anything specific, that cannot both have their way. And the reason this matters is because it will impact your life. See, in 2019, a video like this would have been taken as Chicken Little, sky's falling. But in March 2020, it got real, didn't it? Everyone who thought I was overreacting in January and February then wanted to tell me about the significance of it. Same thing happened when all of a sudden Ukraine was so important to so many people. Let me ask you a question. Real talk, I do this in real life. No one likes me in real life either, so I might as well be the same person on the internet. If you're a European or an American, I want to ask you a question. What is the name of the body of water that exists off the east coast of the United States, the west coast of Europe? What is the name of that body of water? You think I'm being ridiculous, don't you? Yeah, it's obvious, isn't it? Of course it is. Of course it is, because you know these places, they're important to you. You call it home. This is significant, right? I mean, what a stupid question. Let me ask you another stupid question. What's the name of the body of water off the southern coast of Ukraine? Do you know it? Can we at least admit that it's not as significant to you? Why do I say this? I say this because we aren't focused on what we should be focused on. We haven't been for a very long time. In 2025, your focus will be refocused as the world around you changes in ways that make 2020 look like a cakewalk. It's not about hyperbole and exaggeration. It's about an effective description of the level of change, the significance of change that will impact your life in 2025. And this is going to happen differently to different people. But we can all do something, even if it's as small as telling our loved ones today how significant they are and trying just a little bit to understand things from their perspective. Dale Carnegie, in his fantastic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, actually introduced the American public, in the age of the Depression, mind you, nearly 100 years ago, to the Buddhist idea of one's concept of self. If you've never read How to Win Friends and Influence People, let me give you the Cliff Notes. If you're under the age of 25, you probably don't know what Cliff Notes are, but we used to read books. Well, some of us didn't read them, and we read summaries of them. This is even better because it's a video you can watch on your smartphone where I tell you about a book you're never going to read. It goes something like this. The person you're talking to, whole life right there. And in it, they're the main character. All of their ideas are right according to them. All of their expectations are reasonable. If they weren't, they wouldn't make mistakes. They would never be out of line. They'd never get embarrassed in interpersonal relationships where their understanding of things was not the reality. Right now, we have a window of opportunity to come to grips with reality. You can understand why you can't have this conversation with people in real life because you're asking someone to knock it off. Be calm, be reasonable. The world is anything but reasonable. More than ever, people speak their truth. Guys, gals, non-binaries, transgenders, and puppy dogs, all are welcome here. You are entitled to your own opinions, but not your own facts. This is the Thought Fight Club, until YouTube pulls it down. 2025 is when expectations will collapse against the brunt of reality. At the micro level in interpersonal relationships, and at the macro level between nation states, societies, civilizations, we have two opposing, and it's okay if you don't know this stuff. And I do think it's of value because, again, your life is of value to you. I don't need to know you for that to be the case. And no one's going to deliver this message because it sure doesn't feel good. But we can do things that ameliorate. It's a fun word, right? Ameliorate. I was always partial to exacerbate. Program's not for kids. I know. We're the losers at the back of the room. But I like to think it creates an open environment and a welcome environment. Intellectuals were always so stodgy. Me, I can't even stay on task long enough to knock a video out. Not to mention this terrible rig that I got set up here. I'd like to be your internet clown. Make fun of me in the comments. Like and subscribe. But the message is real, it's serious, and your life is serious, and it's sure important to you. And your loved ones are too, as they should be. Understand that you want things in life that others may not. Understand that your plan for the future, the reality will not be as rosy. Everything I'm saying is what you already know. It's just a voice confirming in you that your suspicions that things are going to get bumpy, they're right. And while we have nothing to fear but fear itself, boy, that guy was a joke. You know that? I think that's amazing. I was talking about, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Absolute clown. Absolute clown. You know how he picked the price of gold? When they revalue gold, you know how he picked it? He was reading the paper with one of his clown buddies, Secretary of Treasury, who knows. He just picked it. What sounds good? 35, Todd. Make it 35. I'm left thinking about how we love teeing off on the white guy. Isn't that what we do? We tee off on the white Christian guy. Cisgendered, we do that now. Folks, listen, we can either decide to get refocused on reality now by choice, or life will reassert itself, crushing our concepts of self. That which we think is real and that which is real are two entirely different things. Otherwise, I'd be an NFL running back. Otherwise, I'd be likable in real life and the internet. Unfortunately, it's not that time. It's not that time. We can talk about why this is happening in later videos. I'll cover anything you guys want to. Just put it in the comments. All the way from moving to Uruguay, highly recommended. It is the best country on earth. To what exactly the petroleum market does and how abiotic oil is absolute fantasy. I'm interested in getting to know you. Really. We've got a gentleman in Maldonado who recently joined the channel. Shout out desde 33. Orgullosamente del interior. Así somos. Let's do this together. Let's huddle up. Let's share ideas. Let's value that which is worth valuing. The people in our lives. Let's work collaboratively and cooperatively. Let's do what we can. Or as we say here, vamos arriba. I hope you're doing well in life. I really do. Even though we'll never meet.